Hey, welcome back. We continue working with load boards. In the last lesson we posted our reefer on the board for our driver Quinton. We even got some calls and found a pretty good load actually. I didn't even post the other truck, but he's in Chicago, you remember. That city is a huge logistics hub. I'm sure we could get some calls if we posted that one as well. But of course in real life we're not just going to sit around waiting for a call. We're gonna pick up the phone and start making calls ourselves. I'm logging back into my load board to show you the process. Alright team, so I'm back on my load board and now we're going to be inputting all the parameters in order to search for a load. So we will be using an example of our second driver, Derek. If you remember, he is unloading today in Chicago, Illinois, city of Chicago, state of Illinois. So let's check out the national load counts. Let's see the in and out ratio for Illinois. Equipment is dry van. There you go, Illinois. 984 loads coming in, 620 loads coming out. So this is actually not a hot state, and we can expect the number of trucks to be slightly higher than the number of loads. This indicates that we probably shouldn't be expecting any crazy high rates coming out of that state, but still it's a large transportation area, there's a lot of production, so there are actually quite a lot of loads coming out right now, more than 600. We don't have any specific destination where we need to bring Derek, so we're quite open. If we were doing this in real life, we would just basically be looking for a load that fits the carrier's demands or his parameters. Maybe he needs a specific amount of money that he wants to make on this load, or a specific rate per mile that he wants to achieve on this load. But in this class we're just going to be inputting all the information in order to search for the load properly. So here on the left in my menu, last time we used this function, My Trucks, and we were posting a truck for brokers to see. But now we're going to be using search loads. So we're going to be searching for loads. So a window pops up when I click on search loads, and we will start inputting our parameters. Same thing pretty much as what we're doing for posting a truck. So the origin is where my truck is located right now. He's in Chicago, so I'm going to be putting Chicago. There you go, Chicago, Illinois. We put that in, and then DHO. So this DHO is a tracking term. It means deadhead to origin. Essentially it means the number of miles that the truck is willing to travel empty in order to pick up the load, right? Because the load doesn't have to be specifically in the city of Chicago. Chicago is a large city, but outside of it, there are many small towns and villages where there is a lot of production, a lot of warehousing. So it's quite possible that a good load will be picking up outside of Chicago. And when I input this DHO parameter into the load board, I'm basically inputting the radius around Chicago in which I want to see the loads that are available right now. So this is calculated in miles. Right now here it's 150 miles, well that's quite a lot. I am not looking to deadhead so much usually unless the area I'm based in is completely dead and there is nothing around, because the more you travel empty, the lower your rate per mile, because those empty miles also cost money for the carrier. They have to pay driver salary based on the number of miles they move. They have to pay the diesel and truck depreciation, etc., etc. So I'm just going to put, let's say about 75 miles. There's going to be about 1 hour drive out of Chicago in any location, so in any destination. This is just a radius around Chicago. Okay, and for the destination, once again, you remember last time we were putting Florida and Texas, so I can put a certain state by its abbreviation, or I can put a number of states, or I can even put a specific city. So for example, let's say I needed to bring him to Miami. I would put going to Miami, Florida. There you go. And then again, this DHD is deadhead to destination. So once again, I have a radius for pickup around Chicago, but I also have a radius for delivery around Miami, because let's say my driver lives in Miami and I want to bring him back home, but it doesn't mean that I have to bring him specifically into the city of Miami. Once again, if I put here 75 miles as well, this will show me loads that are picking up within 1 hour drive around Chicago and delivering within 1 hour drive around Miami. So you can play around with it and put different deadheads when you're searching for loads. But in the case of Derek, it doesn't have a specific destination, so I might as well just check out all the available loads, all the available options. In order to do that, I'm just going to leave the destination blank. If I'm leaving the destination blank, it doesn't really matter what deadhead I put here, because it only shows me the deadhead when I input a specific location, so a specific city. Okay, we leave the destination blank, and then for the equipment type, last time we posted a truck for a reefer for Quinton, but our driver Derek is using a standard dry van, so it's the first one here in the options, van standard. And I'm going to choose that. Actually, I can choose multiple types of equipment if needed, but in that case, in this case, we just have a standard drive-in, so I'm just going to input that. Date range, once again, if I am looking for loads that are picking up only today, I'm going to leave it like that. If I want to see loads that are picking up today and tomorrow, or let's say even today, tomorrow, and the next day after that, so I would put from the 12th, from Monday to the 14th, to Wednesday. And in that case, I will see all of the loads that are picking up between today and Wednesday. But once again, in our case, we're looking to pick up a load for the driver today. We don't want him to sit and do nothing for no reason. The wheels of the truck have to be moving. So I'm just going to click on 12 again and put the date range only for today. And actually, we can already click search, but on the bottom here, we have more parameters that we can use. Load requirements. So this is similar to what we were inputting when we were posting a truck. So we can choose to either look at full loads or partial loads, or in this case, when we're searching load, we can also look at all loads. So this will show me full and partial. And then for the lengths, we can leave the lengths and the weight blank in this point, and it will just show us all loads available. But if we want to be more specific, we'll input that the length of our trailer is standard, 53 feet dry van, and the maximum weight this driver is ready to carry is 45,000 pounds. Once again, if my driver is not willing to move anything heavier than 42,000 pounds, then this is the place to put this, and this way it will filter out the loads that are heavier than what my driver is looking to move. But in my case, he's willing to move anything, so I'm just going to put maximum legal weight, which is 45,000 pounds. Okay, done with this one, and it actually starts a search for me. So I can already see the loads here. I have 428 results available to me right now, but there are more options that I can look at. Search back. So some loads have been posted a minute ago, some loads have been posted 2 hours ago, some loads have been posted 23 hours ago. If I don't want to see loads that have been on the board for too long, I can choose this parameter here. So for example, I want to see only the fresh loads, the loads that have been posted in the past hour. What I'm going to do, age and hours 1. You see I had 428 loads, now I have 312 loads. All the old loads that have been posted more than 1 hour ago, I'm not going to see in this case. It's up to you what to look at. Sometimes brokers forget to remove a load, so it's just hanging there. Sometimes you can call on a load that's been posted a couple hours ago, and the broker will pick up the phone and you will actually get the load because he forgot about this posting, he hasn't refreshed it, it went all the way down here, and not so many people see it. So it's up to you what to choose. I usually just leave it at 24 hours. Just to see the whole picture, just to know how many loads are actually available, 428. Now company, I can have some preferences here. I can choose to block some of the brokers, for example. So this is actually not even available to me. I have to call DAT and I have to request this function. I've never used it in my life. Private loads. Private loads are loads offered to selected carriers from brokers that have added their carriers to their private carrier list. Not something to worry about too much right now. If you start working, you get more experience, and you have some of the brokers that would like to add you to their private loads, private carrier list. In that case, you'll be able to use this function. And then the book and bid only show bookable loads. So some of the loads on DAT load board, you don't have to call the broker and negotiate. You can just book it right there on the moment. And if I press here, it will only show me loads that I am able to book right away. Let's try this out. Let's see how many loads I can book right away. Only 3 loads actually. only 3 loads out of 400 I can book right away. So if I click book here, opens a new tab to company website. So this is going to move me to the website of this carrier. Well, right now it's not even available to me. Oh, it's loading. I'm not a robot, okay. So this broker actually decided to provide this option, and you can book the load directly on their website, but I don't know why it's so slow, their website. I'm just gonna leave it here loading, and maybe we'll get back to it. Anyway, I do not want to use this function. I want to see all the loads available to me. So here you go. I have 423 results that I can choose from. Let's just go very quickly over these results. So at first I have the age. So this is how long ago the load has been posted. You can notice that my load board is self-updating. So when a new load comes up, it automatically pops up here. So this load just appeared, and therefore it's showing that it was posted 1 minute ago. And then the rate, some brokers choose to post a rate, other brokers choose not to do it. They want you to call or to send them an email and negotiate with them. In any case, regardless of whether you see the rate or not, you can always negotiate. So if this broker, for example, posted his load for $1,300, it doesn't mean that I cannot call this broker and, you know, offer my own price. Maybe I'm willing to move this load, but only for $1,600. So I can still call them and let them know that my rate is actually slightly higher, and then they will either agree to it, or they will pass, or maybe they will negotiate a bit more with me and we'll end up booking it for like 1,500. So pretty much every load, especially on DAT load board, you can call or email and negotiate. After rate, we have the trip. So the number of miles. This is the number of miles from pickup to the delivery. So this obviously doesn't account for my deadhead. So for example, this load picks up in Bolingbrook, Illinois, and it's 474 miles. This is just from Bolingbrook to this Spencer, Iowa. This doesn't account my empty miles moving from Chicago to Bolingbrook. But to see how many empty miles is from Chicago to Bolingbrook, I see this indicator here. It's DHO. Right, it's the same indicator as we were inputting in the radius. So it's showing me 27. So now I know that actually this load is picking up 27 miles away from where my truck is, 27 miles away from Chicago. And then from pickup to delivery, it's another 474 miles. So it's actually quite convenient that they're putting it all in the same place, because I can very easily calculate. I can add up 474 plus 27, and I can calculate my total mileage. My loaded mileage plus my empty miles will equal total mileage. Next comes the pickup. So we chose the pickup only on the 12th of June. So all of these loads are picking up on the 12th of June. Actually, you see this one, it can pick up either on the 12th of June or on the 13th of June. So it's up to the carrier. But all of these loads will be available on the 12th of June because I input it in the date range. Next, equipment. So for the equipment, we chose dry van, van standard, but as you can see, there are some other types of equipment. So for example, this one is VM, van with a team. So it needs a team driver. It has to be 2 drivers in the same truck because this load needs to be delivered as soon as possible. Or for example, this one. This one is van or flatbed. So you can either use a dry van or you can use a flat trailer. This load can be loaded in both trailers. So once again, same thing as with the pickup. It might have something additional to the dry van, but pretty much all of these loads you can pick up with a standard dry van. Next one is the weight. So this load weighs 8,000 pounds. I think you already noticed that if I click on any certain load, another menu pops out with a more detailed explanation of the load. Let's just choose one load. So we stay on it. Okay, let's choose this one, Illinois to Ohio. So I click on it, and 15,000 pounds is the weight of this load. It's also written here in the full description, 15,000 pounds. We can also see that this is for a 53 feet dry van, and this is a full load. So this is not a partial load. You cannot put any more product in the trailer if you pick up this load. Even though it's not very heavy, it's only 15,000 pounds, but because it's a full load, you will not be able to add any other product. And here in more detailed description, we can see the commodity. So this broker indicated that this is skidded empty boxes. Well, there you go. This is why this load is so light. It's only 15,000 pounds because it's empty boxes. They're very light, but they will take up the whole trailer. So that's why he put it as a full load. What else can we see here? The trip is 344 miles. So many of the things you see here in the short description are repeating in the longer description. But if we move further here to the company, we can see company here and we can see company here. So the broker who posted this load is Countrywide Transportation Inc. Hinsdale, Illinois. Oh, I guess this is their location. So this is Countrywide Transportation Inc. out of Hinsdale, Illinois. And this broker chose to post this load with an email. If we click on another load, you will see a phone number here, but that specific broker chose an email. So he's not looking for me to call him to negotiate, but he's looking for me to send him an email. And then I can see the MC number of the broker. I can see where they're from. They're indeed from Hinsdale, Illinois. I can see their reviews. So they have 2 out of 5 stars. I can see their credit score, 97. And days to pay is how many days on average they take to pay a carrier. So we'll get to credit scores, factoring and invoicing. But typically brokers take up to 30 days to pay a carrier. And this specific broker actually takes 23 days on average, so slightly less than 30 days. So these are all the parameters, and we can actually sort the load board by this parameter. So I'm going back up. Right now, as you can see here, age is in blue. So right now I'm sorting by age. Let me just click on this again. There you go. Now I'm sorting by age. So all of these loads have been posted 1 minute ago, and these are the first loads I see, and then I see the loads that have been posted 2 minutes ago, then 3 minutes ago, then 4 minutes ago, 5, etc. So right now it's posted by post age, sorted by post age. I can also sort by rate. So if I click this here, it will first show me loads with the highest rate. Well, these loads are coming up, so it's a bit lagging, but here you go. The highest paying load right now coming out of Chicago, Illinois, and 75-mile radius around Chicago is paying $3,500. But then again, take into account that not every broker is posting the rate, so there actually might be more higher paying loads available, but they just don't have the rate posted. So this only sorts, it first shows me the highest rate and then it goes to the lowest, and then it will show me the loads without the rate. I don't know if I can scroll all the way to the loads that don't have a rate. Probably not. So it still has a rate 500. But if I were to scroll even more down, it would show me loads like right here that don't have the rate. I don't know why it's coming up. So I guess the new loads that are popping up don't get sorted and they just kind of come up for me to see what is new. Anyway, I can also sort by trip. So let's say, for example, I'm looking for long loads. I'm looking to send my driver out far, you know, for 3, 4, or 5 days. So right now I clicked on the trip and it actually is showing an arrow from down to up. So it means it will first show me the shortest routes and then it will go up to the highest routes. But if I click this trip again, the arrow changes from up to down, and now it's showing me the longest loads first. So these loads are actually going to Canada, Vancouver. So the longest trips out of Chicago are going to Canada. But if I go a bit, this is really, new loads are coming up and they just don't get sorted. So, but if I go down here, so you can see California. So for example, California is all the way in the southwest, and Chicago is kind of in the Middle East. It's called, the area is called Midwest, but Chicago is in the eastern part of the US and California is in the western. So it's more than 2,000 miles for this trip. I can also sort by deadhead to show me the lowest deadhead first, and then if I go Well, actually, I cannot even change. So I can only sort by shortest deadhead first. So in that case, if I sort like this, it will first show me loads that are picking up right there in Chicago. But if I move much further, you see here already 10 miles away from Chicago, 11, 12 miles away. So I can sort by pickup date, but I only input one specific date, so there's no point to sort. And that's it. So this is what I can sort by: age of the load posting, posted rate, trip, which is number of miles, deadhead to origin, pickup date, and that's it. Oh, it's funny because I I sorted by pickup date and it started showing me loads that are picking up between the 6th of June and the 30th of June. So this load can actually pick up anytime. Oh, you see it says not a real load, looking for carriers with alcohol permits for an active bid. So this is actually like a dedicated lane or like a short-term contract, and they're just posting it like this, but really this is not a specific load. They're just looking for carriers that will provide the quote for a specific short-term contract. And then this is something you can do as a dispatcher as well. You can agree with a broker to not just book one single load, but to pre-book for several weeks or even several months in advance. All right. So this is the sorting, and once again, if we click on any specific load, it will show us more parameters. I do recommend you to click on loads that you're interested in because it has more explanation. For example, the comments are only available here in full description, and the commodity or any other type of comments that the broker is inputting is also only available in here, and also the spot rate. So the spot rate is something, once again, the DAT load board provides me. Depending on the subscription that I buy, it will provide me an average rate for this lane. So in this case, it's a 15-day average. So basically it indicates that in the past 2 weeks, for this specific lane, brokers have been paying around $697. It even shows me a range. They've been paying between $627 all the way up to $799. And this kind of gives me a bit of more of an understanding of how much I should be asking for a load or how much is realistic to ask for a load, because the rate is not posted here. And many brokers don't post the rate because they're hoping that some dispatcher or some carrier is going to call and they will accept a very low rate. But the DAT load board is helping us by showing what was the average rate in the past 15 days. All right, that's it. That's how you search for loads on DAT load board. And to be honest, on any other load board, the process is pretty much the same.